Hi everyone, today we're talking about why people are broke. Now this is a subject that I've been waiting to do for a while, but the other day I was kind of on Twitter, and when I was on Twitter I kind of got into a bit of a heated argument about someone about this, and after I had that argument I was like, right, I'm going to make a video on it now. I'm really sorry if you can't read the writing too well. My kind of like thick whiteboard pen that I normally would write with has run out of ink, so I'm having to use a bit of a thinner blue one. But I'm going to go through it anyway, so if you can't read a little bit of it, then don't worry, because I'm going to go through that. So just a background on the story of why I'm doing this video. Basically, I saw that someone had put on Twitter, basically blaming the government. This is kind of like UK based, but it kind of applies in every walk of whichever country you're in, really. And basically they're blaming the government why someone that is a nurse, for you that don't know, a nurse is on about £23,000 a year. Why a nurse is having to go to food banks, which is pretty much, if you don't know what they are, that's where they go to get food given to them for free because they can't afford to purchase food. That's kind of a bad, if you're in that kind of position, then that obviously is not great. But I'm kind of go over the reason why that is happening and the cause of it, and try and help you guys from not getting into that position. Now, like I say, every kind of case is kind of different. I'm not saying that everyone in that position, it's their own fault, but most of the reason why people are in that position is because they didn't do this. Obviously, some crazy thing happened, and that might be why they're in that situation. But most of the time, it's because of the lack of financial education that we've got in this country, and it seems like every other country, there's not a good enough financial education offered, and people get into these financial problems. So I'm going to try help you guys not to get into any financial problems. That's what I do on this channel. I mostly talk about stocks, but I do talk about a lot of financial education as well. And today's one of those financial education sort of videos. Now, 23,000 in my opinion is a decent wage. It is definitely livable, and it's definitely not a wage that you should be living on food banks. I'm going to talk about why I believe that, and also why or how to avoid getting into that situation. So first of all, to get onto that sort of 23,000 range, you're more than likely going to have to go to university. I'm not saying you do have to go to university. There is definitely different ways of getting on that wage without going to university, and you probably get better pay. While people going into education, you probably get a better pay because you probably get your job quicker if you don't go to university and get on that wage. But I'm just taking it from kind of going to university and getting on that wage kind of view. So first of all, more than likely everyone will finish their education at 16, going to in the school system. So you probably finish high school at 16. Between 16 and 18 you're probably going to do some more education. You're going to probably go to sixth form, college, and that's going to be 16 to 18. Now, a lot of people can be a little bit lazy and don't get any sort of work. My advice would be get some sort of job, a Saturday job, a Sunday job, or an evening job during the week. And over that kind of period, 16 to 18 year old, you should try and save about £2,000 up. So £1,000 a year, which is it's not too bad to try and get up there. I did it soon when I left high school. I got a job that I used to work Saturday, Sunday, and I used to over the holidays when I wasn't at school. I used to work over the holidays as well, and I was able to save about £1,000 up a year, and that also covered my costs for running my car as well. I paid for all that. 18 to 21, you're probably going to go to university or something on them lines. When you go to university, you're probably in for like 3 days a week, potentially 4. So over that time you'll have a good 3 days off to probably work. So you have more hours able to work. So over the university period, I would say try and save up about £6,000. That's over all 3 years, which is pretty acceptable, I think, to save that much up. So we're on a good £8,000 right there. When you've left university, you're qualified, you probably try and get a job. Hopefully you'll get a job straight away. And if you leave university and get a job, you're probably going to be working between 21 to 25 with pretty much no financial commitments. You're probably going to still live at home. You've probably got no children's support, which does take a lot of the cost away. So over the 21 to 25 year old kind of period, you want to be doing a lot of heavy saving in that time. That's probably like the most important part of your life, is getting a big bank balance built up in that period. And I worked out that you should save about 48,000 over that 21 to 25 year old period, on £23,000 a year. Obviously that kind of can be different. If you've got a lower paid job, you're probably not going to be able to save that much up. If you've got a higher paid job, you might be able to save more of that, but you should be trying to save quite a bit of your wage at that point. I left quite a bit, I think, for you to be saving up. I think it works out as 12,000 a year you should be saving, which is fair enough, because that still gives you a good 11,000 to be spending. £11,000, 21, 25 is, I think, is fine. You know, probably you'll have a car to run, and potentially while you're still young, you probably want to go travelling a little bit. I think with that amount of money, you'll definitely be able to do that. So I think that's a reasonable amount to be saving on that wage, and then that'll put you up to £48,000. So at 25 years old, we should be having about 56,000 saved up. Personally, at this time, I did not have that much saved up. At that age, I'm still in this category, but in this category, I'm not. Don't have this much saved up. Mine's a little bit less. But I've bought a house, so a lot of my money went into the house, to rent out the house. You know, every kind of situation is different, but this is kind of like a good template to follow. So hopefully, if all this has worked out, we're going to have about £56,000 to spend before we hit this really important age of 25. 56,000 in that bank account is pretty awesome. The big thing I would say is that not to leave 56,000 in your bank account. I'll do something with it. So potentially you could invest into stocks. We talk about stocks on this channel quite a bit. Or we could probably look at looking into investing into some sort of housing. Invest into a house, rent a house out. With 56,000, you could do quite a bit. You could probably invest, like, put a nice 23,000 deposit down on a house and rent that out. That would be a pretty good move. And then, but it's really important, because all through this kind of situation is this period here, because whatever you do in this period here, and getting this up and saving that up, investing into your houses and your stocks, what that all does is push this wage up. And if you push this wage up, that gives you more money to do the bills, and more to do expenses, the more savings you have. And then when you're 6,000 a year, you know, you go investing that into something, you put that into stocks, your houses and all that, and you keep building this up, and then you'll have more of this. So I think that the big thing to take from this is that the financial education is not very good in this country, and it seems like other countries as well, because when you do this right and get this, it snowballs into having more and more money. And if you can snowball into more and more money, and this goes up all through your life, you'll have more and more money to do, you know, invest into things and increase that wage. And if you don't manage your money correctly from an early age, then you have the problem of not being having that spare money to buy things. So like I said before, I think that a big thing is that financial education, and the reason why people have so many money problems and why they're broke is because they didn't get supported enough when they were younger about financial education. And hopefully that if you watch this video and you're up here, then you've learnt something and you'll be in a good situation when you get down here. That's the main thing, guys. So give the video a like, subscribe. Like I say, I hope the video helped you, and I'll see you in the next video.